You know what my kids recently started to do? Really, don't know where he learned it. He goes, Mama, this is 10-year-old. I want to bake cookies. I said, okay, we'll do that later. Same thing, mess and all that stuff. He goes, I want to make a core memory.
Oh,
he
wow.
Gets me.
Done. Bye.
Done.
Pull up a table.
Where did he hear that word?
I don't know.
That is not sit around the schoolyard.
God.
Oh, God, a core
Eli.
memory. That's tough.
How do you say no to a core?
Yeah,
You can't.
No,
You cannot.
Yeah.
Welcome to Bad Parents, a podcast about three bad parents who are trying to raise good kids. She's Shauna.
Hello.
He's Ryan.
What's up?
And I'm Johnny. A Tell It Like It Is podcast for parents to laugh, cry, and to make you feel better about your parenting. Do we hate our kids? No. Do we hate doing some things with our kids? That is a yes. Do we go through some of them in the Bad Parents podcast? That is also correct. It's all coming up now. Don't hate the podcast, hate the game. Welcome to the Bad Parents podcast. Shauna, Ryan, and Johnny. Just coming off here in Canada, a long weekend. 3 straight days with our kids. 3 of them, 3 straight. 2 can be taxing. 3 can be like, well, man, I want to get out of here.
Yeah.
It was hard. It was hard. It's just hard filling the hours between, at least for me, 5:30 a.m. and 8 p.m. It's hard just filling those up.
Yeah.
Did you guys have like a good weekend kid-wise?
A good weekend. I do think that one of the things I'm really bad at, it shines a light on it. Every time we have a long weekend or summer comes, is I really am not good at playing. I was not a playful kid.
Right.
Still not a playful kid, adult.
Yeah.
And I find playing with my kids really difficult. Something that I just hate to do.
Really? You admit it. Hey, listen, it takes a lot of work, right? And it's not, for me, I would think with playing with kids. Well, I know because I have 3 of them, but it's when they're little, they can just do it forever. So it's not like, it's like, hey, you want to play catch? Yeah, I love playing catch for like 15 minutes, but like hours and hours of it, or wrestling or whatever, right?
That's the thing.
It's exhausting.
And my husband ends up taking the brunt of it because he is more playful naturally, but he was both days, like by 6 o'clock at night, done. I'm like, what's wrong? He says, I'm exhausted. I'm like, you work in a pretty physical job. Like you do HVAC, you're in people's houses up and downstairs, in attics and basements. He says, playing with Eli, because he's 10 and he's into all the sports, it really takes a lot of stamina.
Well, I would think for you, like you have a pool, right? And most adults I know, you jump in the pool to get cool off. You probably hang around the shallow end with a cocktail on the side, and you just stand and then you get out.
I know.
But when you're with a 10-year-old, right, they want to play games and football and
wrestle
catch and Marco
catch
Polo.
Because sometimes when you have a pool and it's all about relaxation and you don't get that relaxation time in a relaxing sort of environment, like you even get like a little bit more mad that like I can't do what this is supposed to, why I have this, I'm not doing, like it's not, it's very hard to think about.
Yeah.
You're at a loss for words today after
Very
3
much
days.
so. It's because like, you know, you're so mentally drained. And for me, it's not even so much the physical stuff. It's coming up with the mental scenarios. My kids are still so young that it's a lot of imaginative play where it's like, pretend that this stuffed cat is a newborn baby and like this baby's got to go to school. And what should we, I'm like, I don't know. I've come up with so many scenarios of Paw Patrol beating Batman and Superman. Like it's like they're dogs, they're small puppies. Yeah. They're not beating superheroes. But in my son's world, that's what we have to do. And I have to come up with a new scenario every day. And I don't have the mental capacity anymore.
And they don't just like anything. I do remember that. Like you can't trick them into being lazy. Like I'm just play hide and seek and I'm going to hide. And
At a bar.
They're on to you.
Yeah. Oh, I know. There's a small window where you can like, hey, let's see who can pretend they're asleep the most, right?
Oh, yeah.
And they're like, okay, daddy. And they'll do it once for 10 seconds. You get to close your eyes.
Yeah.
And then they're done with it.
Yeah.
That was a tough age. I find the playing with kids very difficult.
Yeah.
But when they're younger, it's really, really hard.
Yeah. To the point where we were like, we need to get, and we live in an area where there's not a lot of kids in the neighborhood. One of the biggest things I regret is not moving to like what you guys sound like. You have neighbors. You have neighbors. You go outside. There's people playing on there. They're doing hopscotch. They're doing stuff.
Yeah.
We don't have that.
Right.
So I always worry down the line that he's not going to have enough of those opportunities to just play.
Well, and that's sometimes like you say to yourself, like the more children you have, the harder it is, right? Like I'll never, like nobody can ever tell me that more is easier. It just isn't, right?
Yeah.
So you have 1 kid, 2 kids is hard. I have 3. It's very difficult. If I see someone with 4, I'm like, your life's harder than mine.
Yeah.
What would be difficult with 1, and sometimes your son Eli is home alone, is that now it is on you. And I've told the story before where like it really hit me hard. We went to the beach, and you know when you go on vacation, sometimes you see the same people every day. And it was a dude, it was a husband, wife, and 1 like 8-year-old boy. And that dude was on his feet the whole time.
The whole time. That's Mike.
That's Mike. And you're just like, because, you know, same thing. This woman, I guess, she's not the one to play catch, right?
Right.
So he had to do it. And I thought, man, like I go to a beach to just relax. I want to sit there. I want to go in and out of the water, and I want to drink a bunch of beers. And you got to play with your kid. And that's the easy part of having 2 or 3 is that sometimes if they get along, they can entertain each other.
Well, that's just it. If they get along.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, I think not a lot of kudos are given to kind of like these, you know, they say it takes a village, right? So you have a lot of great neighbors and friends in your community, hopefully, that like, you know, you get together at the park, you become friends for your kids, not, you know what I mean? And we're very blessed, at least my family, to have a lot of those in our community. But there is like one, and I always find this funny, as a parent of multiples, when you meet a parent of 1, and her daughter and my daughter become friends, and they live around the block. And every once in a while they'll be like, hey, does Olivia want to come over and like do this and this? And like, I feel like it's a burden for her with 1 kid to have 2. And she's like, please God, send her over because I'm sick and tired of not sick and tired, but like, you know,
need a break.
They need a break, and they play together really well, and they just stay up in their room and play dolls and fashion shows or whatever that they do. And it does give them a break. So sometimes I think it's a burden and maybe I shouldn't, but like it's an amazing break for these people. And you don't see it as a parent of 2.
Never think that. Cause I can tell you right now, like I said yesterday to some of my kids, I'm like, why don't you bring some buddies over? Like, I don't mind that. Yes. Is it nuts? Like the other day during the weekday, my one son had like 4 or 5 pals over, and they're 13 and they're on the trampoline.
Oh, yeah.
And it's loud and they're a mess, but I'm like, I'll pick that up when they're done.
Yeah.
That's less of a chore than playing constantly.
Yeah.
And I know you feel bad saying that.
I know everybody.
You know?
That's what I love about this spot, being able to make confessions, is that if we're feeling this way, other people are too. And you feel guilty that you don't want to play.
Yeah, definitely. Because I think it's a personality thing. Like, it sounds like Mike is up for it. Like, he needs a break, but it sounds like he's not rolling. It's like, oh, God, I gotta play catch
he's
again.
naturally more in tune with his natural child.
And we all
self.
know, in fact, I'm texting a friend right now. He's a father of, I know our sons played soccer together. Anyways, he is always at the soccer field. He has baseball gloves and frisbees and stuff like that. He's that guy that he's just an awesome dude. And all the other siblings that are watching soccer, he'll play with them.
Yeah.
Where I really truly love just watching. It's not even about being lazy. I just don't. It's just not my thing.
Yeah.
So you are or you aren't. I'll tell you what then. I'll confess to something since you confessed to not wanting to play.
Okay.
When we come back, I will confess to something I don't like doing with my children.
Yay.
And can you do it too, Johnny? Can you come up with something?
I think I just did. But yeah, I'll reiterate the fact that I am mentally spent on scenarios.
Yeah, you must have a million different things you hate about being a parent.
Sure.
We all do.
Hate is always a strong word. But yet I think sometimes we need to use it to like get over the fact of how much we dislike something, right? Right?
Yes. It's cathartic.
Exactly. And I find that as a parent, you're kind of in this amazing community of people where you can be a little bit expressive and over the top on how we talk or treat or whatever, and people get it.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's like, you know, sometimes we may use certain words to describe our kids that, like, you know, I only say to you because you get it, right? I wouldn't just, you know, go in a public format and be like, my kids are asshole. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
and there's no one more offended than people without kids.
Right.
That's the best part.
How could you call your child that? Well, hang out for a long weekend with mine and see how you come out the other side.
Definitely. Okay, so then mine is, you know, you admitted that you hate playing with your children. Like, really, really hate it. Like, that wasn't a bit. No, I'm just kidding. I say this. I really dislike going to the movies with my kids, and it's not the time spent with them. I love it. I love everything about it. I love the games beforehand. I love the popcorn. I love the excitement of them. It's the actual movie. And I'm finally now having a 15-year-old, having a 13-year-old, and now a almost 10-year-old. They're getting to the stage. Well, the older two for sure.
Yeah.
But I'm getting to the stage of all the cartoony movies. Like, I know they make them for adults too.
Yep.
And I'm not saying they're not really well done. And I do appreciate the odd joke they throw in there. That's for us. but I just don't get it. It's just not for me. Like Finding Nemo and like I'll never, ever, ever. You know, when you talk to adults and they're like, my top 10 movies, and they have Goodfellas and they have all the classics and they have like Up. Like Disney. I'm like, you're an adult. How can you love that movie? I don't get it. So I admit that. I don't get children's stuff.
Yeah.
And the odd show I liked, like the Backyardigans was popular because they had a lot of songs. The Wiggles, they have a lot of stuff that was kind of entertaining, but it's a real tough watch for me.
Yeah, it is hard.
And because like, if you know me, and you guys know this, like I'm really into true crime. Like I love like documentaries. I love stuff about violence and stuff like that. I don't even like adult types of like Star Wars and stuff like that. I'm just not into the fictitious fantasy land stuff. Like
I just do true crime for kids. Just cartoonize it.
They should.
Before they understand language.
Yeah, like Paw Patrol. They all get put down.
Did you have a real problem with Bubble Guppies because they were like talking fish?
Bubble Guppies. Yeah, like I enjoy watching my children get enjoyment. It wasn't so much the television shows at home because you're the comfort of being on your couch. I can bounce around.
It's going out to the 2 hours plus all the money.
And like once I'm kind of popcorned out, I'm like, my fun. Because I'm not even seeing them enjoy themselves.
And other people's kids. Ew.
Oh, gross. And like we even saw, like I'll even go one step further. We went and saw a Spider-Man one where there's like all the Spider-Mans are in it.
Oh yeah, the multiverse.
And like, so I don't even understand, even the movies that are kind of catered for adults, they still like that gimmicky stuff, and I don't understand it.
Yeah.
Right? I'm just like, give me a story of a cop that's lost his marbles.
And the last few years for parents who don't get
has a talking dog. Like maybe you can marry the two, right?
Like Lethal Weapon. Sure. Make that into a thing.
I'm
too old for this shit. That's what. So I take my phone and I take headphones and I pick the corner. I pick the corner and I just keep it down low. And sometimes I don't watch my phone, but I'll listen to like a true crime podcast.
And what a great way to like do it, right? Everybody wins.
My kids
fantastic.
Would never. Do they see you do it? Your kids?
They've realized now Daddy doesn't care.
Oh, okay.
And Daddy doesn't even understand it. Like we watched we watched one. What was it? Holy cow. I think it was a Spider-Man, but it was like a cartoon.
Oh, the Miles
Morales or whatever.
Yeah, something like that.
It went on forever, ever. I'm like, I don't understand any of this stuff. So that's real tough for me to watch. And I just can't wait till we can watch Law and Order Criminal Intent together.
I can't wait for Tarantino nights.
Oh, yeah.
At what age can my kids watch Quentin Tarantino?
Kids, this is called Pulp Fiction. So for you, Johnny, you're right in the middle of it because at least I get a little bit of taste of my older kids.
He's heading into the first wave of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we have a lot of things going on. It's amazing with my kids how quickly they kind of like latch onto something very, very hard. Right now, my son, who is 3, thinks that he is going to astronaut school when he's done daycare at the end of the summer because he wants to be an astronaut. So therefore, you go to astronaut school.
Right.
Like, it's a real rude awakening coming down the tracks for him that he just has to go to regular public school.
He thinks he's going to NASA.
Yeah, and because like I'm such a literal person, I'm very black and white. Like, for example, we just had a very beautiful long weekend here. The weather was fantastic, like 27 and sunny. But yet my son in shorts just wanted to wear like his winter boots all the time. And I'm so like Jack, like please stop this. Like just wear your shoes because you're gonna get hot and like you're gonna be running around and winter boots aren't conducive to running and you're gonna hurt yourself. And I can see the theory behind it, and I have a real hard time switching myself mentally into what they're thinking. And sometimes I might get a little bit angry or frustrated. That like we actually played with water balloons this weekend, and he was wearing his winter boots. I'm just like, it's so stupid. Like it's so dumb. Like what you're doing it's not fun.
Yeah.
And for me, it's not fun. And for some reason I have to stop and be like, hey,
you're a kid.
It's not the end of the world if you're wearing your winter. It kind of is. If you're wearing winter boots while we're playing with water balloons, it just doesn't make any sense to me. So I need to kind of like be able to be more like whimsical in my thinking.
Yes, that's a good
because
word.
Like. Even though I'm so like, it's so stupid.
What if you just transitioned him to like spring boots?
Like, but it didn't, I still would be upset.
Rubber boots would make sense, actually. Rubber boots would be good for a water balloon.
No, we legit went out and bought water shoes, like open neoprene sandals for just this occasion. Like this occasion, pinpointed for these neoprene open shoes for water.
I don't know what that word means, Johnny. Neoprene.
Neoprene. It's like scuba.
It's like scuba
wear.
Outfit.
Oh, hey, listen. Do you think? As I just saw it's the anniversary. It's 25 years or maybe 29 years. I saw it earlier this morning. Since Braveheart was released. Can my 10-year-old watch that?
Great question.
You know when the guy gets thrown out the window, is that a little too? The problem with Scotland is it's full of Scots.
No, I say yes.
Yeah, it's good.
I say they need to deal with, especially the way the world is going. Get them ready.
Yeah, you think your life was hard. You think your life.
That's what they need.
Yeah, that's right.
So we're kind of talking about the things that we hate to do with our kids. Actually, we're not kind of. We are talking about the things we hate to do about our kids. Sean hates playing with them. Ryan hates taking them to go see intellectual movies. And I just hate coming up with scenarios about playing. So BuzzFeed came out with this thing. It's just called Parents Confess What They Hate Doing with Their Kids. And it's a lot of like, they're not sugarcoating it. Okay. And you guys tell me what you think. Okay. I hate those ridiculous school events for such minor things that don't directly affect my kids. Yet I'm supposed to pretend I care about. I don't care that some 4th grade class made a welcome banner for the front of the school. My kid's in 2nd grade, so why do I need to be at the unveiling of that?
I wouldn't even go.
Yeah, I don't know.
And don't get me started on open house night. Oh, it's been the bane of my existence for over 20 years. I hate it as a child. I hate it as an adult. But my kids love it, and I love my kids, so I do it all for them.
Of course.
Interesting. So on that one, I disagree. I like to see their classroom. I like to see their artwork.
Yeah.
I get excited when hey, this is where I sit.
That's true.
I do like that part.
You know what? You're right.
And I do like having a quick chat with the teacher. What I don't like is the parents that want to talk for an hour about their child to the teacher who's trying to talk to everyone. Just there should be a rule. And listen, if you're a young parent, you haven't done a parent-teacher night yet, you go in and you take 2 minutes of that teacher's time, and you get most parents. All you care about is, are they behaved? Are they doing well? Did they listen to you?
Exactly.
Awesome. Hey, my buddy's up next because their kid's in the same class.
Yeah, the ones that monopolize the teacher's time.
Worst.
Number 2, I hate listening to my 7-year-old read. It annoys me. Wow. It annoys me when she can't sound out a word without help. It also takes forever to finish a chapter. There, I finally said it.
Well, wow. I love the honesty. Ever skip a few pages when you're reading to your kids?
Yes, that I've done. I've definitely done that. They're like, Daddy, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. But when they're learning to read, I don't know. That's a hard one.
Yeah. It is hard. But I do understand it. It's frustrating because I know how to read and I know the difference between there and the and all that other stuff. So I get it.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Number 3 here, I 100% relate because my kids want to do it all the time. Cooking with small children sucks. They always want to help, and it's 10 times more messy and 10 times more time consuming when they quote unquote help. They need to wash their hands 10 times during the whole thing because as soon as they wash their hands, the same hands are up their nose or down their butt crack again. They always want to stir, which is like whatever. And I get it.
You know what my kids recently started to do? Really? Don't know where he learned it. He goes, Mama, this is 10-year-old. So I want to bake cookies. I said, okay, we'll do that later. Same thing, mess and all that stuff. He goes, I want to make a core memory.
Oh,
he
wow.
Gets me.
Done. Bye.
Done.
Pull up a table.
Where did he hear that word?
I don't know.
That is not sit around the schoolyard.
God.
Oh, God, a core memory. That's tough.
How do you say no to a core?
You can't. No. You cannot.
Yeah.
We've all seen Inside Out. We know what happens to core memories. I hate going to other kids' birthday parties.
Yes.
They're so loud and watching presents being opened that mean nothing to anyone but the child. Opening them is dreadful.
Oh, God, yes, and yes. There is nothing better when they get to that age where you can just leave them at the door.
Oh, my goodness.
And you give the mom and dad, you're like, here's my number. If there's any issues, see ya.
Yeah.
That's sitting around.
Here's some
tough.
diapers. I'll see you later.
Yeah. They're old enough.
Okay. A little early.
This one, I think, goes against everything Ryan stands for as a parent because he says that he loves this. But this typing is actually, I'm like, people are being very honest in this BuzzFeed thing here. Okay. I feel terrible just typing this, but I hate rocking my kids to sleep. Hear me out. I love the bonding experience, but it's so freaking hot. when they do finally fall asleep, you're covered in their drool sweat, your own sweat and tears. Not to mention, now they're asleep and you're either stuck or you risk waking them if you move.
Yes.
It's the worst of both worlds, if you ask me.
That's funny.
You're not wrong.
No.
Like I remember we had like one of those glider chairs, not a rocking chair, but a glider. And it worked really, really well to put them down. But they knew when the gliding stopped. Yeah, right. And then you got to like get up. And I don't have a lot of core strength, right? So you like your stomach and you're standing up and then you got to like lift them into the thing and then like slide your hands out like you're some sort of magician. It's a tablecloth trick. And just like, do I go quick? Do I like, it's insane.
Your
and then
core memory is when you remember having a core.
Yeah, that's right.
Exactly.
And when you've almost made it to the door and you're like, I think I've got it. And then, that's a tough one. I hated doing it hungover. That was the worst.
Oh, yes.
Like a Saturday morning, 5 a.m., they're up and you're trying to get them back down. Yeah. Brutal.
It's such a pain going anywhere with them. And I mean anywhere. At stores, it's, I want this and can I have that? They take their sweet time walking and looking at everything while I'm just trying to grab some milk and bread to go. And restaurants, they act so excited to go. Then we get there and they order the same chicken strip plate they always get, act impatient for it to get that there, and then take 2 bites when it arrives and act bored and annoyed that everyone else is actually there to eat their meal.
Yep. And don't forget, you're going to spend $27 nowadays on those chicken strips.
Oh my, that they don't eat. And then often the Parker's classic, we forget that we ask for the takeaway.
Oh, yeah.
And then we leave it on the table. Because normally leaving in a huff because somebody's not happy. I'm not kidding right now. We had our first child in December of 2008. And we just went out for Mother's dinner. It was the best dinner we've ever had.
Sure.
It took us that long.
It takes that long.
It's like a prison sentence.
Agreed. Bath time. Ugh, I hate it so much. With my twins, my bathroom gets drenched every time. All they do is splash water everywhere, and I have to clean the mess. It's exhausting. I don't have twins, but I do have children who bathe together in the bathtub. For some reason, they don't understand that, like, you know, like in the bath, you have like the back wall ledge, then you have the front ledge that leads to the floor.
They don't understand.
Stop pouring water into a bucket that is on that ledge.
Oh, yes.
Like, how many times does it have to fall? Do you not see my face?
I do not miss bath time whatsoever.
But I got kids. It's still, you know how you have the shower curtain and you have the inside curtain to keep the
they
water?
leave it on the outside of the tub.
So I'll go in and pick up the towels and it's like freaking Lake Huron in there. Like, what is going on? Yeah. Put it on the inside.
We stayed at a hotel recently, and Jack, he's 16.
Right.
Goes, this shower's garbage. There's water everywhere. I'm like, hey, Einstein, you didn't put the liner on the inside.
The liner's got to go on the inside.
16.
Once mine are older than toddler age and know how to swing themselves, it is now on them because I'm not playing and swinging with them at the park. You either get to play or the swing.
One or the other.
You see all those other kids? Great. Go play with them before I decide we're going back home. I'm probably winning the Grouchiest Mom of the Year award.
Yeah. That's great. That's fantastic.
The parks suck.
Parks are tough.
You know when you meet a dog and they're like, don't pet the dog's going to be all over you to pet it. You pet them once, you're screwed. I once played zombies at the park with my kids and some of their friends.
Oh, you're done.
3 years ago.
Yeah.
Every time we go play zombies, I'm like, I have like torn meniscus in my knee. I can't run around with a zombie. Then we go to the swing. The swing isn't 0 to 60 in 3 seconds. You got to like take some time before you're doing underdoggies.
Underdoggies.
You do one swing. Jack, higher. Give me a second. Give me a minute to get you up to speed. It's not an airplane.
I'll say this
man.
Too. Underdogs are tough as you get older.
That's the other thing.
You got to time that out.
I really think when I'm listening to all of it, like what we're talking about, I really think the solution to all these things is have kids in your 20s.
Yeah, definitely. Or be a deadbeat dad, Johnny. Yeah. Like, there's not one deadbeat dad that's playing zombies at the park.
Very true.
They're doing their own thing.
Yeah.
They're laughing at you right now.
Yeah.
That's tough because I love watching them play. I can go to a park and sit there all day.
Yeah.
I love to hear their laugh and their voices. I love when they come up with games with their buddies. But when I got to get involved, like I'll give you one swing. And yes, Dad, your dad can't do the monkey bars. Okay, he's too weak. Yeah. And your buddy's dad is probably stronger than me.
All right, last one. Okay, let's make this around a holiday.
Oh no,
I hate trick or treating.
Oh.
Where I live, the weather is usually either very cold, very rainy by the end of October. I love seeing my kid in costume, and I love spooky things, but actually going to door in rainy, cold weather to collect candy that will sit on top of the fridge for the year just does nothing for me.
Here.
Really, eh?
Hate it.
The only thing I didn't like about it was when they were little, because it's often a porch, right? You got to go up the stairs and it's dark and they're wearing a mask and it's often crappy weather. Once they got to the point where like walking was 100% and they were confident and they were fine, then I didn't mind it. Yeah. Because I'll be honest with you, where I live in my little town, everyone takes drinks, adult drinks.
Oh, yeah.
And so all the adults are on the sidewalks saying cheers to their neighbors while their kids run up and down. To me, I love that. But, But I hate a lot of other things, I promise.
Yeah, I don't hate trick-or-treating. But I can see why you would.
Yeah.
I totally see why you would.
I always say it's a sacrifice. Like, oh, guys, I have to stay home and give out candy to the other trick-or-treaters. And I play it up that I really wish I could be there with you.
So then Mike could say, your husband Mike could say, hey, why don't we switch roles this year?
He tried it once.
Did he?
Yeah.
No dice.
Nope.
So, at the end of the day, as much as we hate doing a lot of things with the kids, and we, mostly agree with the BuzzFeed thing, I wouldn't change it for the world. And I know that you wouldn't.
Johnny's kids are listening.
I know you wouldn't, Sean. I know you wouldn't, Ryan.
It's the lifestyle we're not fans of.
Exactly. Listen, exactly. It's not the band I hate. It's the fans. Right?
That's right.
There we go. My name's Johnny.
I'm Shauna.
I'm Ryan.
And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate, because we love getting the feedback. Badparents@curiouscast.ca. It drops every Wednesday. Thank you so much for the support. We really do appreciate it.
He's tired, folks.
I've also discovered drinking. So thanks.